You might think they are doing that to attract a diverse set of skills. They will take you through unnecessary redundant interviews. They'll give you a take-home assignment that has a very unreasonable deadline, and then they go quiet. The next phase comes after a few years. There's a lot of inefficiency, manipulation, and a lot of opaqueness in how that is done. Once in a while, you come across something really interesting, and this thing that is interesting helped you as an individual and also guided your attitude about something. And that thing today is a seminar. I attended an online seminar which is about HR and what is going on in the job market today. And this facilitator has a long experience in human resource recruitment, and he felt he should tell us what is happening, what is going on in the back or behind the curtain in terms of the job market today, and was giving examples of the big corporates in Europe, the US, and I think in South Africa. Yes, and he gave an example also in Brazil. His big focus was on middle-level leadership roles, and I think if you are listening to me, this can be helpful. So it targets the middle-level managers, but I think it affects everyone else, all of us who are professionals globally. And his target of looking at the big corporates is because these big corporates have prestige, they give good compensation, and they usually have a lot of interests from prospective candidates. Because as a candidate, even as an individual, the reason as why you're applying to a specific company or specific big organization is because you know it will look good in your CV, and it's a company that is known either in your country or worldwide. The big companies in the world, Microsoft, Google. Also, there are smaller companies within the location at which you work, or the country in which you are, or the region in which you are, or the state in which you are. And the reason as to why you apply for those or such jobs is because beneath it lies an opportunity for you to have a stepping stone towards a bigger career. So I can tell you collectively or understandably that beneath the veneer of effectiveness of the hiring process, there's a lot of inefficiency, manipulation, and a lot of opaqueness in how that is done. And therefore, his talk was on the red flags, something that can help you and me. And I think today, for this episode, I want us to look at the 3 red flags that I was able to pick from that seminar that you should pay attention to so that they guide you. Don't put a lot of energy into the hiring process and you don't get the job. So the big companies, for you and me, they give us an opportunity to create something for ourselves, but also for themselves as a big company. They advertise some positions to create an illusion of a high demand and a big opportunity for them to showcase that they are doing well. So you see a company posting something in the news that they are reducing their staff by 1,000 people, but you go to their career page and you realize they are advertising for positions. One thing that you're going to get out of here today is that some companies do that to just showcase that they're doing well, and in most cases they probably might hire one, but in real case they do not hire at that moment. So you will be taken on round and round. One, to use it as a tool of negotiation, two, as a brand positioning, but also sometimes it's used as a tool for control, unfortunately for some organizations within. So these vague job postings, and sometimes you might find you're going through some repetitive interviews or some heavy assessments, technical assessments that are necessary for your job. It shows that are they really trying to get a best fit, or they are trying to shape the process around the 3 things I've talked about: brand position, negotiation, and also a tool for control. So what are some of the red flags? To know that you being stronger along the process, you probably are not going to hire you. And I hope from these red flags, they can help you make a good decision and decide. So I'm going to give red flags and what you need to do. Okay. So red flag number 1 is demand inflation. So what does this look like? So there will be job postings asking, it's a senior role, but asking a very few years of experience, or the proficient skills needed are quote unquote basic. In the service, you might think they are doing that to attract a diverse set of skills, but in practice, practice is to expand the applicants pool that they are able to pull in unnecessarily numbers. Do you know why? The facilitator told us it is for reporting purposes by HR, the talent acquisition team in HR. So because high interest shows that there is engagement from the stakeholders. So for them, it's a justification for their job. And also the other reason as why they do this is selective rejection, so that they are able to cull applicants. Okay, and lastly, it's just for brand reinforcement, which positions the company as a high sought employer. Like now, for example, if you go to LinkedIn, you're trying to apply for something, LinkedIn notify you that 10,000 people applied for the job, 100 people applied for this job. So how do you protect yourself from this one red flag? Be straightforward and ask specific, clear questions very early if you're meeting with a recruiter. A good example could be, in this role, what is the one skill if I'm lacking, I will not proceed. Or if it's a specific, let's say it's an engineering job or project management job or product management job, that you can ask quickly. Also, if you notice that the answers coming out of that question are a little bit vague, you shouldn't worry, you just proceed. You never know. That is a red flag. Go to Indeed, LinkedIn, even possible GitHub, and see what is being said and what is happening. That can give you an idea. Red flag number 2, it is the pipeline, a roster gatekeeping process. They will advertise for a job and then create like a pipeline through the whole process. Let's look at how that looks like. So one way to know that you being placed on a roster pipeline and it's elongated, keep you in that process for as long as possible to justify the work of someone internal, is that they'll ask you to solve very hard questions in less time. Another way is take you through unnecessary redundant interviews where they assess the same skill. And another big one, they'll give you a take-home assignment that has a very unreasonable deadline, and then they go quiet and the next phase comes after a few years, few months, few weeks. Why it happens, you might think it's just random. No, it's actually by choice. The reason why they're doing it, they want to create this illusion that they are hiring best of the best. Also, another one is to discourage some candidates so that they use their ability to negotiate. Another one is mostly to see how many of potential candidates, remember these are middle-level management positions, have the stamina to hold on to the end. So the reality is, as a manager or as a leader, rarely do you spend a lot of time in these small, in-depth problems that are handled by your staff. Mostly you will be focused on leadership, guiding, developing plans, coaching, designing big things. But mostly they'll bring out these tiny technical questions just to sieve out, because this type of interviews or skills are easy to measure. And therefore, even if they're not related to the real world performance that you're going to do at work, they can show that at this point, this candidate's dropped off to where we are right now. So how do you handle red flag number 2 is you could be very specific in your questions. A good example could be, ask if they are going to assess you about what does my job require, therefore what assessment I'm going to do that is in relation to that job. Or instead of asking you at some point in the interview process, you can say, can I demonstrate my proficiency in this specific area that's around what you know the job is about. So red flag number 2 is you are in the pipeline, tag along, take you through the process, and it can take months, sometimes a year, to go through this process of being rostered for those positions. Red flag number 3 is rejection rate finessing. So how does this one look like? Some candidates, or you were rejected with a very vague reason, cultural fit, or you didn't have the skill that you're looking for, or you were too expensive, or bar was too high, you didn't reach that. You notice that also as the interview process is ongoing, the position is open on the website. You ask yourself what is going on. That's another red flag. And then of course there will be these ultimatums of, we have 2 or 3 candidates ahead, so you're still interested in this job. This is when they are negotiating with you. So why this happens is because sometimes high rejection rates deflate candidates' confidence and gaining power, unfortunately, for some positions. And of course this creates a sense of scarcity for those jobs. Therefore you tend to feel like the one who will get is a high value candidate, or if you're given a chance to take that position, you are a high value candidate. Oh, of course, and there's also the idea that it allows someone to be desperate for acceptance, therefore expect low salaries. I think that he said was almost the main strategy why they tag along. So how to spot and resist this is one way in which you can reframe this relationship in your heart. You can ask nicely when you're talking to someone, especially the hiring manager in the interview process, that also evaluating this process as it goes ahead and to make a decision. And also you can go to LinkedIn, Indeed, back again, see what are the candidates, what are the patterns of vague registration, and I'm sure you will find some information there to see. So those are the 3 red flags that I was able to learn. And his argument of the facilitator was like, I know this is basically an ethically questionable practice, because why waste someone's time, their self-worth, and also burnout? But the intention here is, if there's one thing you can learn from here, is that is, if you're a candidate, that is seriously out of your control. The only thing you can do is ask questions and push back a little bit where necessary, or clarify, okay, and track all the red flags even more than the 3 that I've given you that I got from the facilitator. Also, you can write about it, your experiences and areas you think you are being tagged along, to clarify, to help others who are out there. But if you are an organization and an HR practitioner within that organization, please be very, very clear from the word go what are some of the technical questions or the technical process, and then there are also the interview format and the timelines. That helps candidates realize actually you come out as being extremely professional. If possible, just cap your interview rounds to 3 technical tests, maybe a panel, maybe the hiring manager, and that's it. Make a decision. And if you ever are doing technical tests, make sure that you interview questions solve real world or relevant tasks. That way there's transparency, there's respect, and mutual evaluation. I'll argue the opposite of what you're trying to do today makes you as a better company. For the candidate to understand this allows you to reframe your mind so that you know what to expect, and they don't put your hope, all your hope, especially if you can see these red flags. You're lucky you might end up being selected genuinely. But also, if this a lot, then if you question. I think the red flags and what you can do are valuable to know what is happening behind the curtains in most of the organization. And I hope today's lesson was helpful to you. Thank you and good luck to your career prospects.